Today, my friends, we're here to break down a very simple attack, the Pekka Bobat at Town Hall 12. This video is going to really go over a lot of things, including how to deal with the CC, in terms of what it is, either a damage CC or a hound CC, and also dealing with different type of bases. Let's go ahead and show you guys how to use this strategy. So you're here to learn how you guys can use the Pekka Bobat at Town Hall 12. Well, this is a very, very strong strategy. And this video is going to really explain to you guys in a very, very simple way of how you guys can use this. It's a very simple attack, and there's a lot of different ways you can do this. For one, you can bring an Electro Dragon to set the funnel, you can use your King to set the funnel, you can use Pekkas to set the funnel. There's a lot of really cool things with this attack. I really enjoy this one. I really liked it at Town Hall 12 myself. It was definitely a very, very strong one, almost my most reliable. But with this attack, what you want to take a look at in a base design is where are the splash buildings? And that's going to be one of your first key things to look for. So by taking a look at this base design here, we can tell that there are about 5 splash buildings on this side of the base alone. What this allows us to do here is actually get some value from there. So for one, if we charge into this area here, we're most likely going to be able to get at least 3 to 4 of these buildings, if not. We most likely won't get this one if we enter into this direction here, as the queen can't go in 2 different directions at once, meaning that what we've got is we've got to sacrifice either getting one or the other. Now that's going to be completely fine. You also may notice that there is a single target Inferno being covered by Wizard Towers. That could still really play into our hands as well, as we are using a Bat Wave with this, or even a Bat Bomb. So let's kind of go over that. So a Bat Wave is when you're using your bats on the outside of the base. So let's say I entered my Bat Wave in from the top side here. This allows us to easily know the pathing. So let's say these buildings are out. So if we know that they're going to be moving right over here, there could be a Tesla over here, so keep that in mind. So if there is, most of these bats are going to move over in this direction. But this allows us to know where we would drop our freeze. So we would drop a freeze right here, right in between these 2 structures, just so that then we aren't just freezing the Wizard Tower. We want to freeze that air defense because it will still do something. May not be a lot, but it will still contribute to taking out the bats. So we want to make sure that we're using a freeze spell in between defenses rather than right on top of them. So keep that in mind with your bats. So with this attack strategy being said, oh yeah, and let me also explain the Bat Bomb. Bat Bomb is when you would drop a Rage, Bats, and Freeze. So this area here can be frozen up. It's going to be a little bit tricky. However, you can still do that. And what that will do is it will allow you to do a Rage into there, Bats in there, and Freeze, or you can vice versa with the Freeze and the Bats in order to get value from that. Now, when you're looking at a base design like this, you want to enter in with your wall wrecker about here. So, of course, you want to know where the town hall is because that is going to contribute to where your wall wrecker is going to go. And not just that, but you also want to take a look at how many compartments that the queen can reach over and get value from. Where's the wall wrecker going to open? What value can you get? And all of that. So that's going to be extremely important, but not just that, but you're looking for 2 extra things. If you are at Town Hall 11 and you know getting splash, it's always going to be important, but not just that, but you need to get the Eagle and the Town Hall. You cannot rely on the bats to take out the Town Hall. It's still a storage building, and that is definitely something to take out. So keep that in mind. Now, when we set up the funnel, we have 2 different ways of doing so. At Town Hall 12, you have the option to use what's called a Warden Walk, and we won't see this in this example. However, we have 2 different sides of the funnel being created. We have the King on the other side creating the funnel there, and an Electro Dragon. An Electro Dragon is a very, very good funneling troop with this attack, or really with any attack. It's a very, very great funneling troop. However, it does cost 30 housing space, so keep that in mind. Now, you may notice here, right here, is that we are popping the Grand Warden's ability pretty early on. But if we go ahead and take a look at the wall wrecker's health here, actually I can't see it, but when we are taking a look at this, the only reason that we're popping it is to protect everything in that area. The first initial rage in order to get the troops into the base, making sure that we are raging them up as we move into the base. That's what's really important with this attack. So making sure that we are going to be able to do so is completely justified. And then another thing is, we don't have a poison, but we should still have the queen dealing with the enemy CC very, very quickly and very easily. So as we're dealing with a base design like this, we are trying to get as much splash as possible, which this allows us to do. Now you can see that we've gotten a lot of good value, including the jump, and you can see that that jump spell is getting right into the town hall. We don't have enough firepower, enough health on that wall wrecker to get right up to the town hall. However, we have a jump spell that will allow us to get there, and that's something that you can decide on using when you guys use this attack. Now another thing is, depending on the bowler count, that one's going to determine on how much of the base can be bowler bounced. That is going to be the thing that you want to look for. On this base design, it's very easy to see why. So you can see that the town hall goes down and the bat wave is now starting to generate. Notice the easy pathing here. They're moving through these defenses very, very easily. So they'll most likely move here. Some of them will split like you see right here. But you can still see that there's some easy pathing freezing up on the multi-inferno or the wizard towers. There were no multi-infernos, but also freezing up onto the Teslas. That's a huge spot as well. Tesla farm can still really do a lot of work onto bats if they are not overwhelmed. So like right there when you saw all those bats split, that means that boom, it can take it out very, very easily. So there we go, guys. That is the first example of many in this video, or I guess a couple, I should say, but very simple nonetheless. So let me know in the comments below if you found this first example really easy to understand, and then if you guys are, then I would totally tell you guys to keep watching the video, please. But I would definitely say there's going to be a lot of good examples in this, so let's go ahead and jump into the next example with the Pekka Bobat. So here we go, we got another example, and with this example, we're going to see something a little bit different. For one, if we take a look at the splash buildings, we got the multi-inferno and the wizard tower over here. We've also got a couple more multi-infernos, some wizard towers over here, some by the town hall, and we also have the eagle right in the center. So we can already tell where some good value is. Now in this example here, we're going to see a bat bomb without the rage. So you can still do so, but you got to use a heal. So keep that in mind. Now things are going to get a little hectic like you're going to see right here, but what we're trying to do is make sure that our wall wrecker is getting in deep enough so then we can use the jump spell to jump into, let's say in this side right here. That's a good area for the jump. So as we're moving through this base design, we want to make sure that, for one, we're dealing with the enemy CC, and we're also dealing with we're mostly dealing with the enemy CC, and the queen won't really be a problem at all. But as we're starting to go in through this base, we want to make sure that we're using our rage spells effectively, and we also want to make sure that we are still getting value. Now this is really where you guys would try to use that bat bomb, since we are most likely going to be able to get down at least one or even both of those splash buildings with the bowlers, easily taking out both the multi and the wizard tower. Very easy because they're really close together. Keep that in mind, because that is one thing that you guys can really take home with this attack and this video. Make sure that you're using a freeze if you see where the wizard tower and multi-inferno are right next to each other, and you can get freeze value like that. Very easy, and it's very, very easy to actually do with this attack. But other than that, very, very simple example here. You notice how easy this was. Yes, a lot of those troops split, but they split in a really good way where you got Pekkas and the king, or Pekkas and the queen, and probably the Grand Warden, and then bowlers and the king. It was a really good split there that allowed you to get a lot of value. Keep this in mind as well. Any air traps will target the bats if an air troop does target it, or trip it. So with that being said, that's going to give you guys a little bit of a nice sort of thought in dealing with what are the weaknesses of bats. But let's go and move on to the next example we have. So let's take a look at this base design right here, and there are a couple things. For one, we've got wizard towers in these two areas here. We got wizard tower here, multi-infernos on these two sides, and another wizard tower there. Now you may also notice here is that the Electro Dragon is getting chain value here like that, and that is setting the funnel on that side of the base. He's also going to be able to get some chain value from here, which is really, really good as well. So make sure that you're seeing something like that, because that can give you guys some really good funneling value when you're using Electro Dragons with this. Then remember sending in your king and maybe a couple wizards to create the funnel on one side, and then have your queen either starting with a queen walk to get some extra value, but then starting to send everything into the base with your wall wrecker, your Pekkas, and bowlers along with the Grand Warden. It's really good though to have your king move onto the outside, as you don't want the healers to steal, or you don't want the king to steal your healers. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now you may notice from the entry point here, why are we choosing to go against the multi-infernos rather than the wizard towers? So rather than going in this direction here to get the easy eagle, why can't we? Well, we got to consider a few things. For one, if we entered into this area, there was a air defense that's almost smack dab in the middle of the compartment. It's going to be pretty difficult. But not just that, but we're also dealing with some high DPS there, more specifically the Expos. And if we enter into this area here, we don't just have 2 Expos. We have a 3rd Expo right there that can always lock onto it. So we want to make sure that we're keeping this in mind with this, especially since there is a ground Expo, I believe, right behind that Lava Hound. So making sure though that we keep that in mind in a lot of different things, we want to make sure that we are sort of still getting value. Now you may notice 2 different splits here. We have the queen going in with a wall wrecker on one side of the base, which means that we're going to be able to get that town hall down very, very easily. Now not just that, but now that we have the Pekkas and the bowlers moving across this way, we're going to be able to get a lot of really good bowler bounce value from this compartment, almost clearing out the whole thing, getting rid of the eagle, which offers us some really, really good value. We even still have a rage spell for them if we choose to use it. Now you may notice that there was a little bit of a weird placement of the tornado trap. Sometimes it'll be placed near the town hall or a multi-inferno. That's just going to really be how it is. We can see how much value the bowlers are getting, even the jump spell, specifically for the Pekkas and bowlers to get some sort of value is what you're looking for. The bat wave has been deployed here. You're going to see 1 freeze or 2 freeze spells are going to be enough in order to take out the wizard tower and clear the rest of the side. As the Pekkas and bowlers do their job on the other side, the bats just do their job on making sure to clear up any other defenses that are on the back end. That's really the point of the bats. It's not really that the bats are the all coming, like, you know, you're going to be using them on the back end. Really where the bats come into play is going to be just getting value from the base in order to sort of clear up a side that you didn't get or something like that. That's what I typically do in a drag bat. So of course, like with anything, it's a very, very simple attack. So we've got a couple more examples here for you guys with this attack strategy. So in this last example here, the one thing that we want to make sure that we are looking at is, well, you can also see it right here. It's going to be a bowler bounce. And you may notice, why is a bowler bounce being used on this base design in particular? Well, where our entry point is, we're obviously going towards the eagle. That is almost a guarantee that we're going for that. But not just that, but if we take a look at it, they're hitting onto this elixir storage. Because it has more health than a wizard tower, it's going to take out the wizard tower. That's huge. The only thing that's going to be targeting them is the mortar. And that's it. Not the cannon, not the archer towers. So, and not even this archer tower down here. There's nothing there that is going to be able to take out the bowlers other than the mortar. Meaning that we can get funneling value and some a free building there just for using the bowler bounce. That is what really counts here. Not just that, but also making sure that we are using it to create the funnel in some way, shape, or form. But you also may notice that we have the enemy CC that is going to be lurable, like you see right here. We only had to use, maybe even a loon or something else in order to lure that out. Actually, it was a giant, I believe. But luring out the CC very, very easily. And not just that, but you also may notice that the town hall is centralized, meaning that we have a centralized town hall. This can still work against base designs like this. If you guys see these base designs a lot, then yeah, I would say 100% try that. Now, I'm not so sure about island bases, so let me know if you guys want to see a video on how to crush island bases, and I'll bring that for you guys. So as we look here and making sure that we are entering into the base, dealing with the enemy CC is almost going to be our top priority. But not just that, but remember that we're looking for the splash buildings and the eagle. So having a centralized town hall means that we are going to be able to easily get the town hall down with little to no effort. We don't need to actually use our Grand Warden's ability until later on. This way that we're able to get through that town hall and still get some sort of value. Now we see that their bat wave is being dropped in, and you may notice that there is an ice golem here. Why are we using the ice golem? Well, it's to tank for this wizard tower, so that then the bats can move into this building here without being targeted and having to waste a freeze. That is really important. That's something that I would say is a very, very important thing to understand when you guys are using this. But you also may notice that he's dropping in a freeze spell right on top of the wizard tower or the multi-inferno. Because these bats are now going in range of the multi-inferno, he has to drop that freeze. So he has to use one right on top of it so that then they don't get taken out. That's extremely important with this. So he needs to make sure that he's continuously dropping in freeze spells on top of that multi-inferno in order to deal with that. Now, even though he isn't going to be able to get down that multi or the wizard tower, he's still going to get some sort of value from there, even if a lot of these bats get taken out. Meaning that we've definitely gotten a lot of good value, even though they were taken out by the wizard tower. And so just keep that in mind, since you will not be able to get through a lot of different base designs with this attack. Making sure though to get as much value from your bats is always going to be critical. So sometimes it may be very difficult where a multi-inferno is placed or something like that, but you got to make sure though that you're keeping that in mind and still getting some sort of value even if your bats get taken out. But with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you guys don't miss anything. Also, let me know in the comments below if you guys want to see another video on Pekka Bobat or maybe even Pekka Smash here at Town Hall 12, and I will try to bring that out for you guys. Also, let me know in the comments if you guys want to be able to see more videos like this where I break down attacks and all that. Also, feel free to go ahead and follow me on Twitter and Instagram and join my community Discord server. All links are in the description, along with the links to other Discords on the clans I'm covering. Feel free to join any of them in the description below. With that being said, that's going to do it, guys, for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.